Okay, here's Brooke. And here's Fred. Oh, right. Okay, we're gonna start, and I'm gonna read the script. Okay, this is Nikki Rowland, Chair of the HSAB. Permit me to confirm that all members and persons participated on the agenda are present and can hear me. Members, when I call your name, please respond in the affirmative. Angus.
Here.
Lucy.
Yes.
Jason.
Yes.
And Brooke, are you here?
I am.
Good. All right, I'm going to take these out. So where was I? No staff and no anticipated speakers. This open meeting of HSAB is being conducted remotely pursuant to Chapter 20 of the Acts of 2021. For this meeting, HSAB is convening by video conference via Zoom app. As posted on the town's website, identifying how the public may join in. Participants may find information on the conduct of this meeting at that location. Please note this meeting is being recorded, and each vote taken at the meeting will be by a roll call vote. Okay. So far the only one person I was hoping that would come in is Steve Theroux for 13 Commercial Wharf, but I don't see him. So I'm gonna.
You want to skip that one until later in case he logs in?
Well, that's a good idea. And Fred is here. Fred, I assume you're here for Chestnut Street. Can you hear me?
Number 1 Chester Street. Yep.
That's Chester, right? Good.
Yep.
Hi, Fred.
Hi, Mickey. Nice to see you.
You too. All right. So hang on one second. Let's do 1 Chester Street first. I'll share my screen. I need to pull up the right application. Chester. All right. So this is an application for a new roof walk, post railings, fascia painted white, deck and skirt natural to weather at 1 Chester Street. Fred, you want to introduce it?
Yeah. So this is an old building, and we did notice that several other old buildings in the neighborhood have similar types of roof walks, and we think it's going to be a nice addition to this particular building. Actually, if you scroll up to that picture just above, you can see one of those buildings in the background there that has a roof walk immediately behind this building. And there's others within view. That one has the posts, which we have the skirt boards going all around, which I think is nicer. But yeah, pretty much just a nice roof walk that their clients are wanting to have on their house.
Okay. Anybody want to comment on this one?
I'm happy to start. Angus.
Go ahead.
So, you know, this being a full 2-story house, this is more the type of house that actually would have a roof walk as opposed to a lot of other applications sometimes we see. So I think it's well suited for it. There's certainly plenty of roof walks, but I mean, they're a lot more without than with. But when I was looking at the proportions of the roof walks, it seemed like there were a lot more of the 2-post or, you know, total 3-post wide as opposed to the 3-section 4-post wide. So my only recommendation would be to shrink it down to the 2 lengths rather than the 3.
I tend to agree. Personally, I feel it's a little wide. It looks sort of nice, but it's a little wide. But I think that's a good comment. Anybody else want to comment, make a comment?
Yep.
Lucy? Brooke, go ahead.
Just one thing that's probably going to come up at the HTC anyway, and that is the skirt. I would say that the skirt should only be on the rear of the structure and only where the enclosure goes up through the roof. I don't think there are any down there with enclosures, and if they are, then they were probably not historic.
So Brooke, are you suggesting that the skirt remain on this rear elevation entirely, or just in an area like to cover like the tunnel? So to speak?
Yes, the just to cover the tunnel, and that's assuming that we are making this a smaller roof walk as well.
Mhm. Yeah, the skirt is going to be a question. Okay, so we'll come back to that. Lucy?
Oh, I'm just looking up in, okay, here it says, the clear expression of the roof slope should not be obliterated. Skirts or solid aprons under the platform are not appropriate. And access should be obtained from the traditional hatchway or scuttle. So I agree with Brooke.
The skirt is a concern.
Yeah, and I also agree with Angus. I think the 2 section is more appropriate than the 3.
Yep.
And I think it looks better from the back side of the house with the 2 sections.
Okay, Jason, are you here?
I am. I agree. It should be smaller. It should not have a skirt on either side. It really should just have a hatch, not a shaft.
Yeah. Yeah, just to put a skirt around just the shaft. I mean, I could almost see that if we felt it was really not going to be visible. But I suspect coming down Cliff Road, you'll probably see the back of this, or maybe it's going up Cliff Road, you'll see the back of this building from the road. So I think it probably will be visible. You know, my other thought is that, you know, roof walks have come up in the past where they want to put a roof walk on, and don't we normally ask to see some sort of evidence that there was a roof walk on the building to begin with?
Yes.
Is there any evidence that there was a roof walk on this?
I don't believe so.
Did you look through the old photos, Fred, or find any kind of research?
Yes, I would have brought that up if I had found one. Yeah, I did not see one.
Okay, so I think that's still something we need to put on the record as a concern, that normally we wouldn't approve a roof walk on a building that hasn't had one, or you know, at some point in its history. If the HCC chooses to go ahead and approve it anyway, which they might, then I think we would like to see the length of it less. I think the 2 section concept is more appropriate. And without a skirt, I think without a skirt entirely, really, on a building of this age, I think the skirt probably is not terribly appropriate. So any other additions to those comments from the group?
No.
Nope.
Okay. All right. So I think that covers it. Thanks, Fred.
Okay, great. Thanks so much, everyone.
See you, Fred.
See you later.
See you guys.
Yep. All right. So now I still don't see anybody joining the meeting. Yeah. All right. So let's just go back to the beginning. We'll go to the first one, which is 13 Commercial Wharf. Is this it? Yes. I think most of us are pretty familiar with this location.
Yeah.
So I'm going to open it up to comments from anybody. Brooke?
Yeah, I'll go. So on the I mean, these are just architectural concerns. I mean, obviously this building isn't historic. Or at least to my knowledge, it's not.
No, it's not. We know that.
Yes. I think I looked out my window for a while at it.
Yeah.
Anyway, so, the proposed west elevation, that is a very peculiar way to treat a gable. And I think that they're obviously doing that in order to get to a full story on the second floor. I find that second story, it looks very long relative to the building. That elevation looks, it just doesn't have the right proportions for something in a traditional area of town. The north elevation can't really see too much, and
North,
yeah, which
It's
is right
basically-
next to it.
facing the street.
Oh, right, sorry. Yeah, the north elevation, again, it's peculiar, but given the kind of, the building itself, it doesn't, it's not what I would draw, but it doesn't bother, it wouldn't bother me if I saw it built. And let's see, existing east, again, we've got two very long two-story second floor masses that just don't help this building at all. Then it looks like the existing south has some minor differences that just reflect what's happening on the opposite sides of the building. So overall, though, I think that the massing of these additions and these changes create a very bulky structure relative to the streetscape.
Okay, thanks, Brooke. I completely agree. And then some. Angus?
Yeah, at first I thought we were just talking about this ramp up alongside it.
Oh,
But
that's right.
we're talking about the addition.
Yeah.
Which I don't think is appropriate. I think it's awkward on the street. And I'm not quite sure how to make it better, but it's more the kind of view that you would have in the backyard where you couldn't see it, but here it is, right on the street. So, yeah, I think it's just awkward.
Thank you. Jason?
Ugly. I think awkward's polite. I
Yeah.
mean, that the west elevation is just like, it's like obvious that there's the program out inside is affecting the outside of the building, and it's just not appropriate. I don't even know. And then on the north elevation, that nice little slope that exists with that little 6 light window, it just adds, it just makes a building that's not very attractive a little more helpful. And to remove that and then put these kind of, I don't even know what to say. It's just totally inappropriate. I don't care that there's other things historically on other wharves that might have been kind of fun, done over time. And this is I just think it's inappropriate looking.
Not
And an
appropriate.
appropriate way to add on to it.
Yeah. Lucy?
I agree totally with everybody, especially Jason.
Yeah. So I've got some pretty specific comments and I'll just read those. Because this is what's going in the notes so far. This proposal creates a building with confusing massing and no front door. There needs to be a main mast with a front door facing the street and subordinate secondary masts on the back and sides. The flat eave on the west elevation is inappropriate. Some attempt should be made to conceal the ramp, possibly under a porch roof with a solid railing. And there are basically no one-story masts to help reduce the tall two-story roof lines. Are we good with that? Do you want me to emphasize anything else?
I think
Am I
that's a
looking
good
at
start.
Sorry.
Let's start. Jason, what'd you say?
Am I looking at a flat roof on the west side?
It's
Yep.
not. It's not a flat roof. It's
Just a half a house.
It's half the gable. Yeah. Yeah.
This is actually something that it is on a house up the street here at Liberty Street, but it looks more appropriate and it reflects a history of it being like a whatever, I guess they're called dowry houses or something like that.
Yeah,
But this is not that
It's
situation.
thinner. We have one over here on Milk Street. It's thinner. It's not double. It's one bay
Yeah.
wide, not this kind of, somebody blew it up with a fight pump type of thing.
Yeah.
My
This
other
is just.
concern too is that how is that flood down there? I mean, is that handicap ramp at the base going to be in water?
No, that's on the street side.
That's on runs to the street. So
It
it
runs
comes
to
up
the street.
between your old building and towards
Yeah.
the water.
The decks over here are facing the water and
Okay.
it slopes down toward the street. So this is street level out onto Commercial Street right here.
Okay.
And your old building had one as well.
It does.
Yeah.
Not quite as long because I was lower than this.
Yeah.
It's pretty steep too. It's
Yeah.
probably just as well. It's a private residence, so they don't have to comply with, I don't think they have to comply with 1 and 12, but it just does look steep. Okay, do we need to add any more to this one?
Just
Nope.
that we'd like to see it back, Mickey.
Leave. Yeah, thank you. Right. Good, thank you. Okay, so moving on to the next one, which is 29 Jefferson. And I think this is for the little building, the outbuilding back here, which it is, yep. And basically just these minor window changes and the color. And I think the color is all about the storm window, changing it from, I think, black to white. Let's just look at this. Add window, no change, window sash, aluminum, storm to white. Door to Hague, blue. And there is a sample. Window sash or window storm sash to white. So it's about the storm window and the door. Here's this color sample. Seems okay.
Yeah, that's actually, it's a very dark sort of Prussian blue. It's a nice color.
Yeah, I don't have, anybody have any concerns with this application?
No.
No, and not for either of them.
Yeah, I kind of agree. The next one, similar things, they're changing the storm windows to white and eliminating a railing detail, which
There's no detail to look at what was before, but
I know.
balusters are appropriate, so.
Yeah, any other concerns? Anybody else have any concerns with either of these Jefferson Avenue applications?
No,
Well,
I
hang
think-
on, wait, hang on a second though. East elevation is,
Facing the
Um,
back.
it is the back.
It's the back, the west, the west faces the road.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's not right. Oh, it is right. Sorry.
Yeah, it faces Jefferson.
Sorry,
It's
right.
west.
Yep. Okay, yeah, so balusters are fine that way.
Yep. And the door we're just talking about paint with the door. We're not changing the actual door. So yeah, none of this seems like a problem to me.
I'd love to get rid of Hamilton blue and replace it with that Hague blue. It's a lot better.
Tend to agree. Okay, all right, so we'll move on to Pine Street. It's our last one.
Is Ben joining us?
He's not. I would like to have seen him. But anyway, this is the proposal.
So we've seen this before, but a long time ago.
Really?
I don't remember.
Yeah, yeah. I think we did. I feel like it was Atlantic Landscape at one point was trying to change this area. But
The
I
same
might have been
idea?
when I was on the HTC. I mean, it was a long time ago.
Do you think it was a similar proposal?
I feel like they wanted to make that triangle area parking. I could be wrong, but it just rings a bell.
Well, that's what I suspect.
I missed that meeting. I don't remember anything like this getting proposed before.
I don't either, but it doesn't mean
It
it
was
didn't.
a long time ago.
Okay, so what about this application, Jason?
Yeah, it looks a little not, it's not, I mean, it's basically one gigantic parking pad being called the brick patio, no offense. I just don't, I think it's too much right there on the corner because it's very obvious and it sticks out like a sore thumb. I mean, you could hit this house as you turn the corner. So I don't think it's appropriate to have all that brick in that whole grassy area. Because I have a feeling it's going to become a park. It's really just a park, another word for a parking area.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Lucy?
I actually went up there and looked at this yesterday morning. And the house next door on High Street has 2 parking spots right up to the street. So with this, there would be an awful lot of brick. I think it would end up being a parking spot. I see no reason why you would want to sit on the corner right there when you have the porch on the side of the house and a nice sitting area already. So I am very much against this.
Right. Okay, Brooke.
I agree. I think that regardless of whether or not it would be another parking area or not, it's just still a lot of brick for a patio. There's nothing like that on any of the houses that I've seen downtown where brick has replaced lawn. I think that they could have 2 parking spots if they needed more parking. And I think that it could be something other than brick. It could be cobble and white shell, just to differentiate itself from the neighbor. But there's definitely, I think it goes without saying that the patio should not be all brick. It shouldn't even be a patio there.
No, it shouldn't. It's very awkward
Yeah.
form.
Yeah.
Angus?
I agree with everybody. Generally the patio is outside the French doors or, the immediate access, and it's just free floating on the side of the house. There's zero, front yard on Pine Street. And so this is really the only buffer between the house and the street. And the garden is charming. I would hate to see that turned into brick. The house next door does have the double wide parking to get into or driveway to get into the garage, but then it's accompanied with, much more lawn than driveway, which you can't really see in that photo. But yeah, I feel that really degrades the streetscape and the the view of the house.
Mhm. Yeah, I agree with everything so far that's been said. And I'm gonna, what I've got so far, and I can change this because it's slightly different than what we've been saying, but I said no concerns about the driveway change. So, basically moving the driveway over, that didn't bother me. The patio is the concern. And I said, ideally, the patio would be in the backyard and not right on the street edge. And if they're going to approve it on the street edge, the patio is too large. They should eliminate the section to the right of the driveway edge, existing driveway line. So, but I think I'll change that and just say it doesn't belong on the street side.
100%.
There's not
Yeah.
even a door.
I know.
There's not even a door. I mean,
Yeah.
so you would come out the opposite side of the house, walk all the way around to the side of the patio. That's doesn't
Oh.
pass
Well,
the
it
sniff test.
are these steps coming down? Is that a porch and these are steps? Is that what's going on here?
Right.
Yes.
Yeah, you can see that that's a porch.
Yeah.
And there,
It's still not direct access.
it's a little obtuse, but it's kind of there. Irregardless, I think it's not the right place for the patio.
And they can't even say it's for bike parking because they built a bike parking structure on the other side of the house, if you look closely.
Okay. So what I'll say is, are we okay with moving the driveway if they really want to do that? It's really just moving it down the side, right?
Yes, but I don't want brick.
I would rather it stay where it is.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, it's just becoming like a gigantic,
Oh, because it's close to the neighbors?
yeah,
Yeah. It's too much
Yeah.
hardscape.
it's just
Right.
gonna look like a gigantic triple driveway with a tree in the middle.
Okay, so I guess what I'll say is,
Leave it alone.
Well, we gotta give them something because the
Like-
HDC will push back on that kind of recommendation.
I know.
I'm gonna say, would like to see the driveway remain to avoid having so much brick next to other brick or something like that,
Yeah.
to avoid.
Personally, I worry about the poor tree too, if it's gonna have its root system chopped out even more. It's a town tree, I would assume.
And I'm still gonna say that ideally the patio would be in the backyard and not right on the street edge.
Not on a corner.
Not even ideally, I'm just gonna say the patio should be placed behind the house rather than on the street edge.
I don't
Because
think
then
there's
if it
any
really is a
example.
patio, then they're gonna come back and want to have a board fence so they can have privacy.
Well, I know they've got the privet hedge and that's really not gonna do much on
No.
that street. Okay, like to see the driveway remain to avoid having too much brick in the same spot, and the patio should be in the backyard. Good enough?
Yeah, I mean, there should be shrubs the way they are now there.
Okay,
That meter box could be boxed in too.
I knew you'd mention that at some point.
I just hate seeing that stuff.
All right. Good with this one?
Yep.
Good with the meeting? I think we're done. Oh, we didn't approve the agenda. Oops. Somebody want to make a motion to approve?
Yeah, I made a motion.
Lucy and Brooke seconded that.
Yep.
All those in favor?
I,
Aye.
Aye.
And the same for the comments. Lucy made
Yeah.
a motion,
yes,
Brooke seconded.
Yes.
All those in favor?
Aye.
I,
Aye.
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 Okay, I think we're done, gang.
Thank
okay,
you.
bye, thanks.
All
Motion
right.
to adjourn.
Bye.
Motion
Oh, yeah.
seconded.
Oh, yeah.
All those in favor? Aye.
I,
Aye.
Aye.
Thanks,
Bye,
everybody.
everyone.
Aye, aye, aye.
I.
See ya.